When I was younger, I used to fake being sick so that I could stay home from school. I think all the times I did that, I know my mom knew that I was trying to pull the wool over her eyes, but she allowed me to stay home anyways. And, she didn't want to be that parent that sent her kid to school to infect everyone with the potential of a cold or a flu or whatever ailment I was complaining of that day. And so she would allow me to stay home. And I think in today's day and age, we all know too well the importance of not spreading disease, right? Living in the midst of this global pandemic and stay-at-home orders and social distancing and all those things, that's become quite familiar to us. And so it got me thinking, though, what if, friends, what if there was a disease worth spreading, right? What if there was a disease worth taking that mask off and doing a happy dance and infecting as many people as we can? Well, that disease, if you will, is our faith. And so this last installment of our Genuine Faith series is all about a genuine faith is genuine when it's active, not passive. And so we have this hope. We have this peace. We have this joy. We have this truth as Christians living inside of us. And we want to infect the world with that. We want to infect our lives with it. We want to come alive to it. We don't want to be dormant to it. We don't want to shrink away from it. But we want to live it out. And we want to share that with others. And so a genuine faith is an active faith. It's going after things. It's actively growing. It's actively sharing. It's actively loving. It's actively meeting people where they're at with exactly what they need. And that's what a genuine faith is. That's what an active faith is. So much of 2020 has been a hard year, and I don't know about you, but at times I have shrunk back in my faith, whether I've used COVID as an excuse or just pure laziness or just not a desire to go out of my comfort zone, to maybe share with others or love others well or reach out to others, or my own apathy and not spending my own personal time with the Lord in worship and in reading his word and in prayer. And so much of 2020 has kind of just been jacked up. And so I was reminded a few weeks ago that of this truth, that God's promises weren't canceled when COVID came. And so why that gives us, me, maybe you, others, why that gives us kind of like a free pass to shrink back in our faith, kind of put things on hold until everything settles down. Why that gives us this mentality is questioning to me. And it makes me wonder and it makes me think. And it makes me evaluate, is my faith genuine? Is your faith genuine? Our faith calls us to move, to rise. We see in the book of Acts, in chapter 7, we're introduced to Stephen. And in Acts chapter 7, just a few verses before, Stephen and the disciples and others are waiting tables. And then the next thing you know, Stephen is transformed to standing in front of a bunch of Pharisees and others, preaching the gospel to people that don't want to receive it, that don't want to hear it, but he's preaching it. He didn't shrink back in his faith. He saw an opportunity to talk about the good news, the truth of who Jesus is. He took that opportunity and he lived out his faith. So much so that it actually ended up costing him his life. So Stephen's first and greatest sermon ended up being his last. And he didn't shrink back from it. He stepped out in faith. He stepped out in boldness. He stepped out and shared the truth that others needed to hear. And he didn't worry about the repercussion. He didn't worry what would happen afterwards. because his faith was genuine. His faith was genuine. He knew that the Lord of the universe, the God of the universe, would take care of him. And so Stephen did that. And unfortunately for Stephen's story, it ended in his death. But because of Stephen's death, it inspires me to this day to read his story and to see a faith that is so genuine and that is so active and so bold. It inspires me to this day. So his death is definitely not in vain. And so what would it look like? What would it look like this year to not shrink back in our faith, right? Not to chalk up 2020 as being, oh, we just got to get this year over. Can't wait to turn the page to 2021, put this bad year behind us. But what would it look like for you, for me, to step into right now, 2020, with boldness, with confidence? What if we were to reclaim 2020 as a year of breakthrough, as a year of growth, as a year of reaching others for Christ, as a year of choosing to see where God is present and at work and stepping into that, whether that means going after others or even just growing in your own faith, not being passive in your own faith, not shrinking back in your own faith, but taking steps towards growing yourself personally in your walk and relationship with the Lord. What would that look like? And so as we close this series, my hope and my prayer is that you would be able to sit with the Father, maybe even some friends, some good friends too, and really evaluate where your faith is at. Where are the parts of your faith that feel genuine, and where are the parts that just need a little bit of help, a little bit of coming before the Father, repenting of the areas where you've maybe shrunk back, or you've allowed fear or laziness or just apathy to come over you, to repent of those things and to say, okay, God, that was then, this is now, and I want to move forward with what you have before me. Because friends, God is, and always will be present and at work. That hasn't stopped. His promises didn't stop when COVID came. His truth didn't turn into anything other than truth when churches got shut down, when youth group canceled. He is still very much present and alive. And he wants to meet with you. He wants to be with you. And so as we finish this year, this glorious year of 2020, because there have been a lot of awesome things that have happened this year in conjunction with some really hard things. I don't want to minimize that. But what would that look like? What would it look like for you to be a Stephen in your own personal faith walk and in public? You know, living out this faith that is deep inside you. And here's the reality, right? Like, maybe you're sitting there and you're struggling with your faith and you're questioning, I don't even know if my faith really was genuine or is genuine. If you ever have questions or you want to talk, that's what we're here for. We haven't gone anywhere here in student ministries at First Free. I'm still here. Your leaders are still here. We would love to chat with you, and we would love to process with you and to help you find a path that leads you back or ignites a faith in you that is genuine, that is moving, that is vibrant and alive. Friends, I love you. I miss you. I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to see you soon.